Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read Zechariah 8-14, Proverbs 8, and Psalm 45. Let's get started. The word of the Lord of hosts came, saying, Thus says the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I am jealous for her with great wrath. Thus says the Lord, I have returned to Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem shall be called the faithful city, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus says the Lord of hosts, old men and old women shall again sit in the streets of Jerusalem, each with staff in hand because of great age. And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets. Thus says the Lord of hosts, if it is marvelous in the sight of the remnant of this people in those days, should it also be marvelous in my sight, declares the Lord of hosts. Thus says the Lord of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country, and I will bring them to dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And they shall be my people, and I will be their God in faithfulness and in righteousness. Thus says the Lord of hosts, let your hands be still, you who in these days have been hearing these words from the mouth of the prophets, who were present on the day that the foundation of the house of the Lord of hosts was laid, that the temple might be built. For before these days there was no wager for man or any wager for beast, neither was there any safety from the foe for him who went out or came in. For I set every man against his neighbor. Now I will not deal with the remnant of this people as in the former days, declares the Lord. For this shall be a song of peace. The vine shall give its fruit, and the ground shall give its produce, and the heavens shall give their due. And I will cause the remnant of this people to possess all these things. And as you have been a byword of cursing among the nations, no house of Judah and no house of Israel, so I will save you, and it shall be a blessing. Fear not, but let your hands be strong. And thus says the Lord of hosts, does it propose to bring disaster to you when your forefathers provoked me to wrath, as I did not relent, says the Lord of hosts. So again have I purpose in these days to bring good to Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. Fear not. These are the things that you shall do. Speak the truth to one another, and do in your gates judgments that are true and made for peace. Do not devise evil in your hearts against one another, and love no falsehood. For all these things I hate, declares the Lord. And the word of the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, Thus says the Lord of hosts, the fast of the 4th month, and the fast of the 5th, and the fast of the 7th month, and the fast of the 10th shall be to the house of Judah seasons of joy and gladness and cheerful feasts. Therefore love truth and peace. Thus says the Lord of hosts, people shall yet come, even the inhabitants of many cities. The inhabitants of one city shall go to another city. Let us go at once to entreat the favor of the Lord, and to seek the Lord of hosts. I myself am going. Many peoples and strong nations shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem, and to entreat the favor of the Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts, in those days 10 men from the nations of every tongue shall take hold of the room over you, saying, Let us go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. The oracle of the word of the Lord that is against the land of Hadrach, and Damascus is its resting place. For the Lord has an eye on mankind, and on all the tribes of Israel, and on Hamath also, which borders on it. Tyre and Sidon, though they are very wise. Tyre has built himself a rampart, and heaped up silver like dust, and fine gold like the mount of the street. And behold, the Lord will strip her of her possessions, and strike down her power on the sea, and she shall be devoured by fire. Ashkelon shall see and be afraid. Gaza too shall writhe in anguish. Ekron also, because its hopes are confounded. The king shall perish from Gaza. Ashkelon shall be uninhabited. The mixed people shall dwell in Ashdod. And I will cut off the pride of Philistia, and I will take away its blood from its mouth, its abominations from between its teeth. And its true shall be a remnant for our God. It shall be like a clan in Judah, and Ekron shall be like the Jebusites. Then I will encamp at my house as a God, so that none shall march to and fro. No oppressor shall again march over them. But now I see with my own eyes. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout aloud, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king is coming to you, righteous and having salvation is he, humble and mounted on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the war horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off. And he shall speak peace to the nations. His rule shall be from sea to sea, and from the river to the ends of the earth. As for you, I say, because of the blood of my covenant with you, I will set your prisoners free from the waterless pit. Return to your stronghold, O prisoners of Ho. Today I declare that I will restore to you double. For I have bent Judah as my bow. I have made Ephraim its arrow. I will stir up your sons, O Zion, against your sons, O Greece. and with you like a warrior's sword. The Lord will appear over them, and his arrow will go forth like lightning. The Lord God will sound the trumpet, and will march forth in the whirlwinds of the south. The Lord of hosts will protect them, and they shall devour and tread down sling stones. And they shall drink and roar as if drunk with wine, and be full like a bowl, drenched like the corners of the altar. And on that day the Lord their God will save them as the flock of his people. For like the jewels of a crown, they shall shine on his head, on his land. But how great is his goodness, and how great his beauty! Rain shall make the young men flourish, and new wine the young woman. Ask rain for the Lord, and in the season of the spring rain, from the Lord who makes the soil clouds. And he will give them showers of rain to everyone in the vegetation in their field. And the household gods utter nonsense, and the diviners see lies. They tell false dreams and give empty consolation. And therefore the people wander like a sheep. They are afflicted for the lack of a shepherd. And anger is hot against the shepherds, and I'll punish the leaders. Because the Lord of hosts takes care for his flock, the house of Judah, and will make them like the majestic steed in battle. From him shall come the cornerstone, and from him the tent peg, from him the bow bow, from him every wheel, all of them together. They shall be like the mighty men in battle, trampling fire in the mud of the streets. And they shall fight because the Lord is with them, and they shall put to shame the riders of horses. I will strengthen the house of Judah, and I will save the house of Joseph, and I will bring them back because I had compassion on them. And they shall be as though I had not rejected them. For I am the Lord their God, and I will answer them. Then their frame shall become like a mighty warrior, and their heart shall be as glad as with wine. Their children shall see and be glad, and their hearts shall rejoice in the Lord. I will whistle for them and gather them in. I have redeemed them, and they shall be as many as they were before. They will scatter them among the nations. In far countries they shall remember me, and with their children they shall live and return. I will bring them home from the land of Egypt, and gather them from Assyria. And I will bring them to the land of Gilead and to Lebanon, until there is no room for them. It shall pass through the sea of troubles, and strike down the waves of the sea, and all the depths of the Nile shall be dried up. The pride of Assyria shall be laid low, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart. I will make them strong in the Lord, and they shall walk in his name, declares the Lord. Open your doors, O Lebanon, that the fire may devour your cedars. Wail, O Cypress, for the cedars fall. For the glorious trees are grown. Wail, oaks of Bashan, for the thick forest is being felled. The sound of the wail of the shepherds, when their glories run. The sound of the roar of the lions, for the thicket of the Jordan is roared. Thus saith the Lord my God, become a shepherd of the flock doomed to slaughter. Those who buy them slaughter them, and go unpunished. And those who sell them say, blessed be the Lord. I have become rich, and their own shepherds have no pity on them. I will no longer have pity on the inhabitants of this land, declares the Lord. Behold, I will cause each of them to fall into the hand of his neighbor, and each into the hand of his king, and they shall crush the land, and I will deliver none from their hand. So I became the shepherd of the flock doomed to be slaughtered by the sheep traders. And I took 2 staffs, one I named Faith, the other I named Union, and I tended the sheep. In 1 month I destroyed the 3 shepherds, and I became impatient with them, and they also detested me. So I said, I will not be your shepherd. What is to die, let it die. What is to be destroyed, let it be destroyed. And those who are left devour the flesh of one another. And I took my staff favor, and I broke it, annulling the covenant that I had made with all the peoples. So it was annulled on that day, and the sheep traders who were watching me knew that it was the word of the Lord. And I said, if it seems good to you, give me my wages, and if not, keep them. And they weighed out my wages, 30 pieces of silver. And the Lord said to me, throw to the potter for the lordly price, which I was priced by them. So I took the 30 pieces of silver and threw them into the house of the Lord, to the potter. Then I broke my second staff union, annulling the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. And the Lord said to me, take once more the equipment of a foolish shepherd. For behold, I am raising up in the land a shepherd who does not care for those being destroyed, or seek the young, or heal the maimed, or nourish the healthy, but devours the flesh of the fat one, tearing off even their hoofs. Woe to my worthless shepherd, who detests the flock. May the sword strike his arm and his right eye. Let his arm be wholly withered, and his right eye utterly blind. The oracle of the word of the Lord concerning Israel. And also declares the Lord, who stretched out the heaven and founded the earth, and formed the spirit of man within. Behold, I am about to make Jerusalem a cup of sour to all the surrounding peoples. The siege of Jerusalem will also be against Judah. On that day I will make Jerusalem a heavy stone for all the peoples. All lifted will surely hurt themselves. And all the nations of the earth will gather against it. On that day, declares the Lord, it will strike every horse with panic, and its rider with madness. But for the sake of the house of Judah, I will keep my eyes open. When I strike every horse of the peoples with blindness, then the clans of Judah shall say to themselves, the inhabitants of Jerusalem have strength through the Lord of hosts their God. On that day I will make the clans of Judah like a blazing pot in the midst of wood, like a flaming torch amongst sheaves, and they shall devour to the right and to the left all the surrounding peoples, while Jerusalem shall again be inhabited in its place in Jerusalem. And the Lord will give salvation to the tents of Judah first, so that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem may not surpass that of Judah. On that day the Lord will protect the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so that the feeblest among them on that day shall be like David, and the house of David shall be like God, like the angels of the Lord going before them. And on that day I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem, and I will pour out on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and pleas for mercy, so that when they look on him whom they have pierced, they shall mourn for him, as one mourns for an only child, and weep bitterly over him, as one weeps over their firstborn. On that day the mourning in Jerusalem will be as great as the mourning of Hadad Rimmon in the plain of Megiddo. The land shall mourn, each family by itself. The family of the house of David by itself, and their wives by themselves. And the family of the house of Nathan by itself, and their wives by themselves. And the family of the house of Levi by itself, and their wives by themselves. The family of the Shimeites by itself, and their wives by themselves. And all the families that are left, each by itself, and their wives by themselves. On that day there shall be a fountain open for the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, to cleanse them from sin and uncleanness. On that day, declares the Lord of hosts, I will cut off the names of the idols from the list, so that they shall be remembered no more. And also I will remove from the land the prophets and spirit of uncleanness. And if anyone again prophesies, his father and mother who bore him will say to him, you shall not live, for you speak lies in the name of the Lord. And his father and mother who bore him shall pierce him through when he prophesies. On that day every prophet will be ashamed of his vision when he prophesies. He will not put on a hairy cloak in order to deceive. And he will say, I am no prophet, I am a work of the soul, for a man told me in my youth. And if one asks him, what are the wounds on your back? He will say, the wounds I received in the house of my friends. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, or against the man who stands next to me, declares the Lord of hosts. Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered. I will turn my hand against the little ones. In the whole land, declares the Lord, 2/3 shall be cut off and perish, and 1/3 shall be left alive. And I'll put this third into the fire, and refine them as one refines silver, and test them as gold is tested. Then they'll call upon my name, and I will answer. I'll say, they are my people, and they'll say, the Lord is my God. Behold, the day is coming for the Lord, and the spoil taken from you will be divided in your midst. For I will gather all the nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, the houses plundered, and the woman raped. Half of the city shall go into exile, and the rest of the people shall not be cut off from the city. And the Lord shall go out and fight against those nations, as when he fights on a day of battle. On that day his feet shall stand on the Mount of Olives, and it lies before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall be split in two from east to west by a very wide valley, so that one half of the mount shall move northward, and the other half southward. And you shall flee to the valley of my mountains, and the valley of the mountains shall reach to Azal. And you shall flee as you fled from the earthquake, in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God will come, and all the holy ones with him. On that day there shall be no light, cold, or frost, and there shall be a unique day, which is known to the Lord, neither day nor night. At evening time there shall be light. And on that day living waters shall flow out from Jerusalem, half of them to the eastern sea, and half of them to the western sea. And it shall continue in summer as in winter, and the Lord will be king over the earth. And on that day the Lord will be one, and his name one. And the whole land will be turned into a plain from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem. But Jerusalem shall remain aloft on its site from the gate of Benjamin to the place of the former gate, to the corner gate, and from the south tower of Hananel to the king's winepress. And it shall be inhabited, for there shall never again be a decree of utter destruction other destruction. The Jerusalem shall dwell in security. And this shall be the plague with which the Lord will strike all the peoples that wage a war against Jerusalem. Their flesh will rot while they are still standing on their feet. Their eyes will rot in their sockets, and their tongues will rot in their mouths. And on that day great panic from the Lord shall fall on them, so that each will seize the hand of another, and the hand of the one who will be raised against the hand of the other. Even Judah will fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all these surrounding nations shall be collected, gold, silver, and garments in great abundance. And a plague like this shall fall on the horses, the mules, the camels, the donkeys, and whatever beast may be in those camps. And everyone who survives all the nations that have come against Jerusalem shall go up year after year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep their feast of booths. And if any of the families of the earth do not go up to Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, then there will be no rain on them. And if the family of Egypt does go up and present themselves, then on them there shall be no rain. And it shall be the plague with which the Lord afflicts the nations that do not go up. Keep the feast of booths. It shall be the punishment to Egypt and the punishment to all the nations that do not go up to keep the feast of booths. And on that day they shall be inscribed on the bells of the horses, holy to the Lord. And the pots of the house of the Lord shall be as the bowls before the altar. And every pot in Jerusalem and Judah shall be holy to the Lord of hosts, so that all who sacrifice may come and taketh it and boil the meat of the sacrifice. And there shall no longer be a traitor in the house of the Lord of hosts on that day. Proverbs 8. Does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice? At the heights beside the way, on the crossroads she takes a stand. Beside the gate in front of the town, at the entrance of the portal she cries aloud. To you men I call, and my cries to the children of men. The simple ones learn prudence, their fools learn sense. Therefore I will speak noble things, and from my lips will come what is right. For my mouth will utter truth. No wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are righteous. There is nothing twisted or crooked in them. They are all straight to him who understands, and right to those who find them. Take my instruction and study them, and know it rather than choice gold. Wisdom is better than jewels, and nothing anyone can compare with it. My wisdom dwells with prudence, and I find knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is hatred of evil. Pride and arrogance are in the way of evil, and perverted speech I hate. I have counsel and sound wisdom. I have insight, I have strength. And I make kings reign, and laws decree what is just. By many princes rule, and nobles always govern justly. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently find me. Riches and honor are with me, enjoying wealth and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, even fine gold, and my yield than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, and in the paths of justice, granting an inheritance to those who love me, and filling their treasuries. The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his work, the first of his acts of old. Ages ago I was set at the first, before the beginning of the earth. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs abounding with water, before the mountains had been shaken, before the hills I was brought forth. And before he had made the earth with his field, nor the first with the dust of the world. When he established the heavens, I was there, and he drew a circle on the face of the deep. When he made firm the skies above, when he established the fountains of the deep, when he sat into the seas alone, so that the waters might not transgress his command. When he marked up the foundations of the earth, and I was beside him like a master workman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world, and delighting in the children of men. And now, sons, listen to me. Blessed are those who keep my ways, see instruction and be wise, and do not neglect it. Blessed is the one who listens to me, watching daily at my gate, waiting beside my doors. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. And he who fails to find me injures himself. All who hate me love death. Psalm 45. My heart overflows with a pleasing theme. I adjust my verses to the king. My tongue is like the pang of a ready sprite. You are the most handsome of the sons of men. Grace is poured upon your lips. Therefore God has blessed you forever. Gird your sword on the thigh, O mighty one, in your splendor and majesty. In your majesty ride out victoriously for the cause of truth and meekness and righteousness. Let your right hand teach you awesome deeds. Your arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemies. The peoples fall under you. Your throne, O God, is forever and ever. The scepter of your kingdom is the scepter of uprightness. You have loved righteousness and hated wickedness. Therefore, God, your God, has anointed you with oil of gladness beyond your companions. Your robes are all fragrant with myrrh and aloes and cassia. From ivory palaces string instruments and make you glad. The daughters of kings are among your ladies of honor, and your right hand stands a queen in gold of fear. Hear, daughter, and consider, and incline your ear. Forget your people and your father's house. And the king will desire your peace, and say to the Lord about it. The people of Tyre will seek your favor with gift, the riches of the people, all of the glorious, and in the princesses in a chamber, with robes interwoven with gold. In many gold-colored robes she is led to the king, with the virgin companions following behind. With joy and gladness they are led along as they enter the palace of the king. In places you will follow, others shall be your son, and you will make them princes in all the earth. I will make you cause your name to be remembered in all generations. Therefore nations will praise you forever and ever. Now that's done, I should now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your heads. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, and we also forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.